All right, everyone, we're reading here from Wrestling Inc. On Tuesday's Busted Open Radio. Bully Ray shined a spotlight on Flair being unnerved by the Chicago crowd. Though this came across as surprising given the two times Hall of Famer's frequent praise towards Flair, Bully stated that didn't prevent him from giving her criticism when warranted, and he felt that her performance on SmackDown warranted criticism. She got murdered by that Chicago crowd, Bully said. They got under her skin. She lost her place. She couldn't find her footing, and thus every moment that went by that Chicago realized they were getting on her skin, they went after her even more to the point it seemed like she was tapped on the mic to where she even said, "Okay, Tiffany, you can have the last word." I'll be damned if I'm ever going to give anybody the last word or just giving up the last word. As a heel, I will silently allow my babyface to have the last word, but I'll never tell my babyface, you can have the last word. She flew the white flag in that situation. So this is interesting. This is really interesting because I do think there's a level of truth to that. It did look, if I'm thinking back to that, you know, right there, there was some level of truth to that. Okay. That she did feel like a little bit shocked at the reaction. But I also don't think it necessarily matters in this story. This idea that she wasn't going to be the heel in this, we kind of knew from the moment she returned that she was going to be the heel. Now, it may not be a true heel, right? It doesn't mean she's going to be with no fans, right? And everybody hates her, but it's one of those heels where it's like she has some level of fan, but at the end of the day, compared to Tiffany, right? She's the heel in that situation. So I don't know. I don't think if she's still expecting, and if WWE is still expecting her to be the baby face in this situation, it just isn't going to happen. We haven't seen it really happen at all. We've seen support for her, but not to the level of, okay, yeah, she's the baby face in this feud. It's just not going to happen. But it seems to me, if I'm just reading the tea leaves here, and if you buy into what Bully Ray is saying, it seems to me there's something really going on here with this backstage stuff is really bleeding off into the on screen, and maybe that's affecting Charlotte because the first night that she was really on the mic, remember this, we did a video on it where they basically said she kind of expected to be a baby face, right, and receive a warmer reaction from the crowd, but she immediately switched to a heel promo after finding out that, she was getting that kind of reaction. So there wasn't, right? There wasn't this like, oh my God, she's shocked and she can't figure it out. There has to be something else that has changed. So just keep that in mind when we're looking at this. But I hope they deliver a good match, and I hope whatever's going on behind the scenes they could fix. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.